When I was planning a hike in Patagonia, Chile, I bypassed the famous Torres del Paine National Park and opted for a lesser-known park instead. In this video, learn why I chose to hike Cerro Castillo and whether or not I regret my choice. I'll share some tips to help you decide if this is the mountain for you. So where is Cerro Castillo? Well, the national park is located in the Aysén region of northern Patagonia. The nearest airport is an hour away in Balmaceda, which is a 2-hour flight from Santiago. The airport is very small, and you will need to drive or take a shuttle bus to the jump-off point to the small but charming town of Coyhaique. Cerro Castillo National Park is about an hour drive from Coyhaique. If this all sounded like a lot, just know that pretty much anywhere you go in Chile will have a similar route. Plane, shuttle bus, van. It's a very long country. One point in favor of Cerro Castillo is that Torres del Paine is even further from Santiago. So what was the hike like? Well, there are a couple routes that you can choose to get to Cerro Castillo. I am not a backpacker, so I opted for the Lagoon View in and out day hike. All Trails rates this hike as hard due to the elevation gain of 3,700 feet. I agree with that. All Trails also said that it was 8 miles, which differed from my Apple Watch, which said it was 10. I'm not sure where the discrepancy was. The time commitment was similar. It took me about 6.5 hours. The reviews are pretty glowing for this hike. Everyone talked about the beautiful views. The most negative comments came from the entrance price, around $18. My favorite reviewer talked about how she has Stockholm Syndrome from this hike because she would absolutely do it again but hated most of the ascent. I followed the slow and steady pace of my guide and did not have any real problems, much to my surprise. The trail starts out with a good incline and doesn't really let up for the majority of the hike. You start in some tree cover and go through a nice meadow before getting above the tree line. Around 2 hours later, you reach a great place to take a break, go to the bathroom, eat a snack in preparation for the last push up to the top. The final part is the most technical section of the hike, and I passed some patches of snow, but none were blocking the trail when I did the hike in midsummer. After about 30 minutes, you reach the top of the ridge and can look down into the gorgeous blue lake with the spiky spine of Cerro Castillo shooting up from the opposite side of the lake. The rock is dark gray and spotted with small white glaciers. If you're lucky, you will be able to see the blue sky framing the mountain top. In short, it is absolutely stunning.
On top of Cerro Castillo in Patagonia.
I enjoyed the view while eating lunch. Cerro Castillo is awe-inspiring and was everything I hoped it would be. To make it even more magical, some Andean condors made an appearance soaring through the air. The way down was much quicker, and after around 2 hours, I was back in the van, dirty, exhausted, but so happy. I mainly enjoyed the scenery on the descent. In the distance, I could see the highest peak of Patagonia, as well as the largest lake in Chile. Things to know. There is a bathroom at the trailhead and another one about 30 minutes from the end of the hike. There is a natural spring on the trail. My guide told me I could refill my water on the hike, so I only packed 1 liter of water. However, I would never have taken this option unless I was with a guide. I doubt I would have even seen the spring. I thought for sure I was going to end up with Giardia, but I didn't. I was hiking solo, so I booked a tour. I really enjoyed my young buck of a guide, Javier. He was full of interesting knowledge on plants and animals in the area and also made me feel very safe. He had packed lots of survival gear and hiking equipment in case of emergency. However, the trail is very clear, and most people I saw did not have a guide. Another perk of taking a tour is that my hike included transport to and from the trailhead. Now, Coyhaique is an adventure hub. There are several different tour guiding companies. I know this because I had to go find one. I had booked the hike 6 months before we left for Chile and was ghosted by the company the night before I was supposed to hike. To make matters even worse, the only day I had available to make up the hike was on Christmas Eve. I didn't have the highest hopes that I was going to find another company to take me, but I did. It was a Christmas miracle. Now, you definitely want to use trekking poles for this hike. The grade was so steep that the poles help going up, but are really important for taking pressure off your knees on the descent. My tour included pole rentals. The weather can be pretty tempestuous. I was told to wear layers because the top of the mountain can be super windy and cold. I got lucky on my day and it was pretty calm and warm, but I definitely went through many layers over the course of the day. Horseflies. These suckers were nasty and were all about biting me. When we were by the lake, they came after me. They didn't seem to bother other people, so maybe I was just unfortunate. Other than the difference in the distance from Santiago, the main reason I chose Cerro Castillo over Torres del Paine was because of the number of people who visit these parks. Cerro Castillo gets a fraction of the visitors. On my hike, I definitely passed other people. However, when I was near the lagoon, there was only one other group of people with me. It was quiet and peaceful. So to summarize, the hike to Cerro Castillo was absolutely wonderful. The views were breathtaking and everything I was hoping for when I started planning my trip to Patagonia. In all fairness, I have not been on other hikes in Chile, so I can't say whether my experience is better than the other. However, I can say without a doubt that I have zero regrets in exploring this region of Patagonia and going to such an effort to make it to this mountain. Subscribe for more videos and happy adventures!